Hello everybody and welcome to the final day of play here at the Women's Champions Trophy in Mendoza, Argentina. It's 5th against 6th. It's England up against China. Well, it's another beautiful day here in Argentina. And both sides will be looking to finish on a high. These two have only met once in a classification match in the Champions Trophy. That was back in Sydney in 2009. England won't have fond memories of that day. They got beaten by 7-0. England, who have improved steadily throughout this tournament. In fact, they were disappointing against New Zealand, but performed well against Japan to win by 3-1. China, who came past Germany in a shootout by 5-4 to book their place in this match. And now the teams are out in the middle. We'll have the national anthems first of England and then of China. So both teams bring the curtain down on their Champions Trophy campaign here in Mendoza, with a match to see who will finish 5th and who will finish 6th. This will be the 18th meeting in total between the two. England have won 7, China 5. And there have been 5 draws as well along the way. Maddie Hinch retains her spot in goal for England. And England, who came to the party in terms of goals against Japan, now have 7 to their name. And 2 have been scored by Ellie Watton and 2 by Sophie Bray. There is Danny Kerry, the England head coach, also the high performance director, so he'll be delighted with the way the England men have been performing in Bhubaneswar in India. China, well, they've only got 3 goals to their names in their previous 5 matches. Wang Mengyu, number 2, is very deadly from the top of the circle. She captained in the last game against Germany, but Queen, number 7, gets the armband back for this final match here in Mendoza. China's coach is from Korea, Coach Cho Myung-jun. He'll be hoping that his side start more like they started against Germany than they did in their previous 4 matches, where they were very defensive. Stephanie Judfinder of the United States is one umpire. Chico Soma on the far side from Japan is the other. Carol Metchett of Ireland is in the video referral box. So we're almost ready to get this one underway. Sophie Bray will be hoping to add to her brace of goals here in Mendoza, as the crowd count us down to the start of this one. England get us underway in this 5th-6th playoff match, attacking the goal to our right-hand side in the all-red strip. China in their change strip of all yellow with black socks. And joining me, Charlie Broom, in the commentary box for this one, the former Wales and Great Britain international Sarah Thomas. And Sarah, what are your thoughts ahead of this game?
Well, I think an old coach of mine used to say you're only as good as your last game, and on that basis I'd say England are in the better form going into this game. We saw Argentina break China down with 7 goals, and they did that by running at them, and I think there's an opportunity today if England get the likes of Lily Owsley and Susie Townsend and other creative players in midfield running at the China defence. I think that will be their best opportunity.
So, England then trying to break China down by moving the ball around. Will they be able to achieve it? They played 6 times in the Champions Trophy before today. England have only won 1. There have been 3 draws and 2 wins for China. China down this left-hand flank. That's a good tackle. And England bring the ball away. Owsley can't manage to keep it in. England started with a 3-1 loss against Australia, then they drew 1-1 with Germany, lost 4-1 to Argentina, conceding 3 goals in the final 9 minutes of that one. Then they lost 3-1 to New Zealand in the quarterfinals, bounced back to beat Japan 3-1 in the first of the 5th, 8th playoff matches. China started with a 2-0 loss to the Netherlands, drew 1-1 with Japan. They came from behind in that one, then lost to New Zealand 2-0, got fairly beaten by Argentina 7-2, and then drew 0-0 with Germany, winning 5-4 on a shootout. The last Champions Trophy meeting between these two is in Amsterdam in 2011. 0-0 on that occasion. We'll be hoping for some goals here today, though. Straight into action is Zhang down this left flank. That's a good ball across, and Cracker's missed it. Or she might have left it, but she had Xi behind her, so it was a dangerous tactic.
Yeah, they need to be careful with that. Xi was very good yesterday and made a lot of ground on the left-hand side in attack and created opportunities. So England defence need to be aware of her and her roaming in behind the defence in particular.
Lee wins the sideline ball. Here is the skipper. Quack drops it out, and it's played forward by Townsend. Into the circle goes Bray, a chance for Sophie Bray, and she was hoping the keeper was going to make her mind up for her, but the keeper stayed big, and Bray can't beat Lee.
Yeah, I personally think she should have hit that a bit sooner than she did. She just carried on that 1-2 steps extra. She, great opportunity, a great speed, but that's the moment, 2 steps before that, where she needs to hit that low bottom corner. Susie Gilbert, as you can see, is getting in there to try and get deflection as well, but Bray on this opportunity has overrun it.
Here she is again, but the first touch is not a good one. Good tackle. Here goes Townsend, who's had a good tournament, playing with a snapped tendon in her fingers. A splint on that finger. Here's Unsworth. Unsworth up towards Owsley. Has a clash with Peng.
England not making those traps in midfield at the moment. Balls coming through from the back from Unsworth and the likes of Queck, but they just need to make those traps if they're going to make some ground.
Zhang, this is McCallan to Owsley. Plenty of encouragement being shouted from the sideline. Here is Peng to Yan Yan. wins a free hit. First ball comes across. It's a good pick from Ansley. This is Kui. Wang Mengyu. Bao. Little weighted aerial. And England have the ball.
Yeah, China doing well in going forwards at the moment, but England just need to push out from the forward line, try and stop playing higher up the field. At the moment, they're very congested and there's not much space to work in. And when they're getting the ball, they're just working as individuals in the same space. They need to stop playing a passing game.
Twig to Shipley. That's the voice of Craig Keenan you can hear on the sideline. Unsworth. And Wang Mengyu brings it, picks up the ball, ships it out the right-hand side. Jiang wins the sideline ball. Kui. Off the stick of Ali Watton.
You can go back and top and tail.
Peng. We'll chop it out to Bao. Wang Mengyu over on that right-hand side. That's a loose ball.
I mean, that's a much better press from England. The midfield line are getting tighter to the forward line, but when they're winning the ball back, it's just those errors of play, passing the ball into midfield to no one. They need to secure the ball then to make sure that they retain possession.
It's loose on the far side. England have the sideline ball. And this time Haycroft gives possession away. This is Wang Na. To Peng Yang. Kui. Back to Peng. This is Yu Jian. Yu Jian up against Townsend. Unsworth comes across. Yu goes to ground. Slow to get up. Trying to have the free hit. Twig wins the free hit. Twig, but again the first touch from a number of players isn't quite what they would want.
No, exactly. England have not started as sharply as they would have liked. That's a great ball from Unsey down the sideline, but the umpire has just gone.
That helps out. As Gilbert picks up possession, good tackle on the edge of the circle by Kui. Quack. Into Gilbert. Susie Gilbert back to Sam Quack. Unsworth taps it infield. Gilbert, Unsworth, Gilbert again. Can she get the cross in? She can. And it's past both China defenders. Owsley's in there. Owsley looking to try and win a penalty corner. She can, and she does get the foot of Bao in the end. But the two England attackers almost getting in each other's way.
Yeah, I mean, that's better from England in terms of the stretch and enabling the transfer. They didn't have that against New Zealand, which is what killed them. But you're enabling them to utilise that space, get around the back, and on this occasion, Owsley putting on a foot to win the first corner of the game.
Laura Unsworth scored England's only penalty corner in this competition. That was against New Zealand. shift at the top, and it's gone to Queck on the right. Castle. Queck looking for the deflection, but I think it was up off Hannah McLeod's stick. They tried to find Gilbert on the far post, but I think McLeod's touch took it away.
Yeah, here we see the ball going out to the second Castle. Sam Queck delivering the ball in, trying to get the touch off the deflection on the P spot, but the stick was just not at the right angle. It was far too flat and the ball just rolls over it rather than it coming off it. Not seen Sam Queck deliver too many of those balls into the D though, so very good from her.
I had to apologise to Holly Webb. Of course, she scored a penalty corner in the 3-1 win over Japan, so England have 2 penalty corners. Quack into the midfield, and Twiggs' first time ball to Gilbert. It's a turnover ball, but McCallan wins it back for England. Here's Owsley now on the left-hand flank, and it goes towards the keeper. Owsley again. And Quee does really well. Good defensive work by the captain. In fact, it was McCallum with the second shot. Owsley into the circle.
Yeah, good ball in, good save, and Sean McCallum trying to get the second shot off, but not really getting an awful lot of pace behind it. As I was saying earlier, England are getting a lot more stretch on the game. They're utilising the width, but the result of that means that they should then want to play through the outside rather than through the centre, which is what they're doing too much of the moment.
Haycroft almost plays herself into trouble. In fact, she does play herself into trouble. This is Zhang with support on the left flank. This is Liang. Back it comes to Wang Na. Into the circle. No, China asking for a foot, but long corner is the answer from Chico Soma.
Yeah, too many girls getting into the circle in this tournament and just throwing the ball off their stick, hoping for penalty corner. Umpires have become a lot more aware of that now, and you need to do something a bit more special to win a corner in there.
Owsley. Gilbert. Queck. Ansley. Good patient play from England. Another player unable to trap the ball at the first time of asking.
Yeah, the midfield for England letting the team down at this moment. First touches aren't doing a lot, and every time they receive the ball, they're not taking enough risks in moving forward and trying to penetrate the China defence.
Long corner then to China. Peng Yang with it. Peng Yang onto the reverse stick. Good pick from Holly Webb. Gilbert. That's a lovely turn from Sophie Bray. Infield to Susanna Townsend. And a chance here for England to break. Owsley drops it back to Bray. Bray into the circle. They're into the 25. Picks up Townsend. Good goal!
Yes.
Brilliant goal! Fantastic finish, and England are in front, and it's the first time they've really come forward positively. All the touches, the first touches were good, the passes were spot on, and what a well-taken goal this is.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it's everything they haven't been doing up until now. Really good use of the ball. Lily Owsley drops it off to Sophie Bray, and then getting the cross in there, you see Susanna Townsend, and a nice finish from Shona McCallan. Really good piece of team play. Brilliant passage of play there from Susie Townsend, putting it across, recognising the goalkeeper had come off our line and utilising the space that they created for themselves.
Well, that will lift the spirits for England. Shona McCallan opens her account. Good interception from Hannah McLeod, who's then been hit by something, and not another injury for England.
Yeah, I think she's just got the back of the Chinese defender into her face there, and it's just taken a bit of a blow onto her. Yeah, that was much better from England though, wasn't it? It was exactly what we've not been seeing in this first quarter, but great that they can do that and pull that out, and hopefully as this game progresses we'll see much more of that from them.
But as I said, it's also the touches were spot on.
Yeah, spot on. And just the laying off, very sensible from Lily Owsley. Didn't try and carry it in one direction, dropped it off to the supporting player so they could keep the ball and the momentum moving.
Well done. Get a shake. Hold. Joe, close to the tree.
Oh, Shona McCallan with her first international goal.
Oh really? Amazing.
Congratulations to her. And in fact, Sarah Haycroft got her first international goal against Japan. Well, both girls opening their accounts with ones they will remember. Really well taken goals, both of them. Haycroft's a wonderful solo effort.
Yeah,
McCallan's a really good team effort.
Yeah, exactly. Haycroft played really well yesterday. She made a really good assist as well as her goal, and it's exactly what they need to do. They need people who are going to get into that circle and take a shot on target. I mean, we know they've lost their prolific goal scorer in Alex Danson this tournament, and they need girls to step up and take that responsibility.
There is the quarter time hooter, and England are in front thanks to a wonderfully taken goal by Shona McCallan. Quarter time score, England 1, China 0. So plenty of positives then for England in that opening quarter. China are going to have to step up a gear, aren't they?
Yeah, most definitely. I think Danny Kerry's little chat with the girls would have been very different had they not scored that goal. I think he would have indeed been telling them to get the ball off their stick and try and utilise the space and run at the Chinese defence. But we've seen from China in previous games that they can come back into games and that they can create opportunities with a long ball through. So we need to be very careful now moving into the second quarter.
Okay, let's listen in now to Danny Kerry.
A little bit. Someone else comes back to down from the line. Just in terms of our basic shape, I want you to have a deeper one and a higher one, but you're very much a distance that you can work together. Okay, because what it's doing is bringing up their front line.
para la continuidad de este encuentro.
It also allows you to play short in, and then you go and find the ball off the next pass. So make sure you're in a
Directo
connected
a los
distance with one another.
al segundo cuarto
Secondly,
de 15 minutos.
go to the screen.
Una de las modificaciones que estuvimos comentando durante toda la Champions. Una de las novedades, cada partido jugarse en 4 cuartos de 15 minutos. Ahora 2 de descanso y posteriormente 10.
What do you make of what Danny Kerry was saying?
Yeah, I didn't hear an awful lot of what he was saying, but I could sense the fact that he was saying they wanted one player deep and one high and to work together, and more than likely he's talking about the forwards in that sense. You hear him a lot of the time in the stands shouting to players up front to connect and to communicate and to work off each other, and that's really important in terms of the attacking play. They don't want to be working as individuals, they need to work as a unit.
Hannah McLeod and England get us underway into this second quarter. Twig forward, and Owsley tries to feed Twig, and that's a penalty corner up off Wang Mengyu.
Yeah, good. Great start from England in the second quarter, and that's exactly what they need to be doing. Owsley finding Georgie Twig in here, manages to get a little touch on it and just unfortunately goes into the Chinese defender, but really good from them, and they need to get the second one now to just keep drilling this game home against China.
Well, Webb is there, Ansley is there, Queck is there. Ansley on the right, Castle, Webb and Queck. In fact, Webb now out of the equation. So it's Queck and Ansley, Queck to the left. It looks like it's going to be, well, there's 3 of them now on that top Castle. Ansley's missed it, Unsworth. Forward it goes from Haycroft, and play on. All comes down to the poor trap on the top of the circle. And not too many players forward for China. So England should deal with this easily, and in fact Liang gives possession away. That's a good take from Owsley. Owsley into the 25, still going Lily Owsley, up to the line, tries to get the ball across, but Kui does well to cut it out. Just out of the reach of Unsworth, but Haycroft is there. Haycroft back to Quack. Nice turn from Georgie Twig. Twig trying to turn New inside out, but trying to win possession back. Here is Peng Yang. Owsley does really well.
Great take from Owsley, and first instinct is to go forward with the ball, which is exactly what England need now. She's been really impressive, hasn't she, Lily Owsley? I mean, she looks like she has no fear out there, 19 years of age, and one of the stars, I think, for England in the future.
Hannah McLeod. Ooh, that's a interesting tackle from Jiang. Penalty corner coming, and now England can try and get the trap right at the top of the circle.
Yeah, you can see initially Hannah McLeod getting the ball on the right side, making it really difficult for the Chinese to defend, and then here we see Joey Lee doing a really good job on top of the circle, just turning it into that foot.
Squeeze foot again. Wang Mengyu lining up. Defensive action. This time it's Webb and Ansley at the top of the circle. Queck is in, running from the right hand side. Webb on the right, Castle, Ansley on the left. And it's gone to Ansley. Wide of the mark from Giselle Ansley.
Yeah, here we see it come out to the top. Ansley gets hold of it, but it's just flown wide right of the goal there. She needs to be getting those on target so England at least can get the rebounds off the goalkeeper if it doesn't go into the net.
Owsley again, who's, as we've saying, finishing this tournament strongly for England. To Lee. Lee, well tackled. Oh, and that's good turnover ball by Haycroft, but she's got no one in front of her. Now Townsend tries to give her a lead down that right flank there. Oh, Haycroft tried to find Townsend, but it's been cut out. And then China give possession back again. China, when they get hold of the ball, need to look after it more. They're giving it away far too cheaply.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're defending well in numbers and protecting the centre. Hence, England are giving the ball away a couple of times. But when they do regain possession, like you say, Charlie, they need to really take care of it. Otherwise, they're not going to get themselves back into this game.
It's going to be a very long afternoon for them. Just ticking up towards 2:30 in the afternoon, local time here in Mendoza. Another beautiful day in the west of Argentina, not a cloud in the sky. What a contrast to 7 days ago when it was 15 degrees, cloudy and cold. Bray, first touch again, not great, and no one is going to get on the end of that one. China ranked 5th in the world, England 6th. England dropping from 3 after their performance in the World Cup where they finished 11th. China were 6th at the World Cup. Shipley with the sideline ball. There is Twig to Webb. Webb goes up the middle towards Watton, who tries to turn it round the corner. Unsworth.
Yeah, good work from England in transferring the ball, but there's not an awful lot of movement in front of Unsworth at the moment. And hence they're going to just continue to give the ball away. They need a lot more movement from the midfield players coming back, so there's a shorter option for Unsworth to play it into, and not always that they're trying to hit that long option.
China with the free hit. Unsworth brings it under control. She's going to be quick. She gets it away just in time. Here's McCallan. To Watton. Watton to Gilbert. Gilbert. That's a nice little ball. England in round the back here. They can make it count. Bray trying to feed Townsend. And long corner.
It's interesting, isn't it? As soon as players get to the baseline, they always look to play it into the P-spot area where it's really congested. There's been very few teams that have actually pulled the ball to the space at the top of the circle. And I can't remember, I think it was the Netherlands we saw do it, and they were extremely successful in doing so. And I think that has to be something. China mark the inside and the center of the circle very, very well. We're now playing into the congested area rather than pulling it back out.
There was not really any space in there at all on that occasion. And again, China just give the ball away. I think the possession, the opponent's half stat at half time is going to be heavily in England's favour unless China can do something in these final 8 minutes of the first half. Pang. Here's the free hit.
Yeah, it's a complete contrast to China's game against Germany yesterday, where they managed to get an awful lot of numbers high up the field and were playing some really good long balls in. Today they look like they're uninterested in going forward, and it's very, very different, you know, in less than 24 hours.
Gilbert gives away the free hit. Kui. Just with that little slip, and extraordinary decision. What a ball that was.
I know, playing an aerial ball to the sideline where someone's really congested, it just makes no sense. On that occasion, China got acres of space
hold on
on
a
the right
second.
side.
I think that one beats that one before. Sam Kwek passing it to nobody. It's catching. It's the first time in a while that China have been in England 25, and it doesn't last for long. There's nobody in front of Sophie Bray. England still a little slow to get out of their half. Unsworth.
England just need to be careful now, don't they? They've spoken a lot this tournament about concentration, and that came after conceding 3 goals in 1 quarter to Argentina. So they need to stay focused now and try and get the second goal to take that lead even further out of the Chinese reach.
Kwek tries to get the ball into the China circle, trying to get it clear. Wang Mengyu. That's going to hurt. Kwek, who's already been in the wars, she's been to hospital twice to have her ribs x-rayed.
Yeah, just hitting the ball there. Wang's just looking for a foot. I mean, poor Kwek standing in the way of that. As you said, Charlie, she's had an unfortunate tournament in terms of knocks, but being captain of the team, she's led really well in terms of showing them that that's not going to keep her out of a game, and she's just kept coming back. So, in all fairness to Kwek, she's done really well.
She might not be able to move on Christmas Day. McLeod down this right-hand flank. It's a good tackle from Kui. Nice jab tackle. Bray takes a long corner. Bray still going. Lovely work from Sophie Bray. Bray all the way. And what a run that was from Sophie Bray.
Yeah, some really nice 3D skills there, and just Chinese defenders getting nice and low in their tackles, and therefore you just take them out of the game completely. Really good work from Bray. It's just the finishing touch there to put that into the back of the goal. Here we see 3D skills eliminates 2, 3, 4, and then here's the 5th one here. So a great piece of work. It's just this point here. 6 as well. Yeah, I think that Chinese defender does well actually in getting a little touch to that, doesn't she?
Yeah, that's
stopping her from getting the shot off.
Here is Wang Mengyu. Kui. And Ji now guilty of being unable to trap the ball.
It's funny because normally that's the one thing you would rely on China is in terms of their basic skills of trapping. They spend an awful lot of time on training it, but today that's let them down most definitely.
We've got 4 minutes of the first half remaining. England lead by a goal to 0. Here is Unsworth. Shove in the back on Gilbert, but Gilbert does well. Here is Quek with McLeod, and Owsley in front of her, and asking too much of Hannah McLeod.
Good work from England though in getting out of the back, using a slightly different tactic there. Unsworth looking as if she's just a shorter option, and then at the last minute peels out to become the right defender, which enables Sam Quek to get higher up the field. And on that time they found Sam, and she just wasn't quite able to get the ball through, but that could be a threat for them against the Chinese.
Plenty of space in the midfield here for Wang Na. Nice ball up to Peng Yang. Peng Yang into the circle. Peng Yang, if she pulls it back, that's the bright ball. Just couldn't quite pick out the supporting player, Wu.
Yeah, a really good run here, isn't it, from Peng, using her strength and putting the ball in a really difficult position for the England girls to defend. Great ball back as well, as you said, Charlie, the right decision to do, and it's just gone a little bit too far behind the player, so she couldn't quite get hold of it.
Onto the reverse stick. And that's sharp.
I mean, she gets the shot off, she gets underneath it, that's the problem. She hits the bottom of the ball rather than the middle, hence why it started to rise. But we've seen a lot of those opportunities, haven't we, in this tournament where they've gone blazing over the crossbar, and I think from a coach's perspective he'd much prefer for them to be going on target.
Peng Yang just having a good few minutes in this game, but as we tick into the final 2 minutes of the first half, still England 1, China 0. Peng Yang up to Wang Na. Peng Yang once more. And it comes from Wu. Oh, and it's off the bar. Hinch got that jump all wrong. And it looped onto the top of the bar, and England survive a scare.
Yeah, and Zhu thanking her teammate for that ball in, so showing she was exactly going for that deflection towards goal, and England were lucky with that one.
I think Hinch thought it was going a long way over, and then realised actually it might be dropping in.
Yeah, it just dropped quite quickly, didn't it?
By which time she got it all wrong, and that's unlucky for Jo Lee. Here it comes off the back foot. There's the deflection, and Hinch. Oh, she wasn't close to that and survives.
Yeah, really good ball in, considering the girls moving away from goal, and just manages to creep in front of the England defender to get that deflection off. But yeah, Maddie Hinch, not the tallest of goalkeepers, and that could have been a worry for England there.
Lee does well. 20 seconds remaining, and England, I think, will just play this one round the back. A little look up on the clock from Holly Webb to Quek. Unsworth back to Quek, and Quek can just sit on the ball. She doesn't even need to pass it. And And Webb will do just that. She's happy to let the clock run down. There is the half-time hooter, and England are in front at the break. The goal scorer, Shona McCallin, makes the half-time score. England 1, China 0. So a good first quarter from England. It was a little bit more even in that second quarter. China hitting the bar with Maddie Hinch well beaten, but England get to the break in front, and deservedly in front, because they've played the more positive hockey in this match so far, but they only have the one goal to show for it. It was a very, very well taken team goal, taken by Shona McCallin, and Danny Kerry and his team will look to add to that as soon as possible in the second half. At the break then, it's England 1, China 0. Welcome back, everybody, to the half-time interval of this 5th-6th playoff match between England and China, and England are in front thanks to a well-taken Shona McCallum goal on 13 minutes. And let's have a look at the highlights from this first half alongside me, Sarah Thomas.
Yeah, good piece of play from Shona.
Sophie Bray, that one was it?
Yeah, and that one. Here's the one from Sam Queck at the top of the D, trying to look for deflection in on the P spot. Great bit of work from Lily Owsley to get that ball in, and you can see Shona McCallum stopping on top to try and get a shot back in. And here's the goal for England. Ball in from Susie Townsend, and a great first touch from Shona McCallum to deflect that ball right into the top of the net. Really well worked team goal.
And here's the one I think that hits the bar. Maddie Hinch will be pretty happy to see that one cleared to the sideline. So that's the view down from the commentary position, and this is the game in stats. 7 penetrations to 2 in England's favour, 4 shots to 0. And possession opponents half 57-43. England's penalty corners 0 from 3, a little disappointing. Please don't forget that we are on social media. You can stay in contact with us on Facebook, facebook.com/FI Hockey. And if Twitter's your thing, at FIH_hockey, use the hashtag CT2014. We're also on Instagram and YouTube at FI Hockey. And time to tell you also about the 2014 Player of the Year vote. The FIH is launching an online voting system for Player of the Year, Goalkeeper of the Year and Rising Star of the Year for both the men and the women. Participating players of both Champions trophies, so here in Mendoza and out in Bhubaneswar, India, will vote for their favourite. The coaches in both competitions will also vote, but most importantly, the vote is open to you, the public, for the very first time. From a week on Monday, the 15th of December, the shortlist will be open for votes. Stay tuned to the FIH social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter, for more information on that. Right, well, I think we're going to be able to get the views of Danny Kerry, who's down with Mel Clulo pitchside.
Danny, is that possibly the best goal you've seen an England team score?
It's pretty high up there. It was a good goal. Yeah, it was pretty high up there.
And in terms of the second half, what are you hoping from your girls?
And more of the same. They've got to be really disciplined. China don't commit anybody to attack, but they're very quick on a counter-attack. So we need to just be diligent with the ball, make sure we don't turn it over cheaply, and keep managing the risk. And if we do that, we're well in the game. Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time and good luck.
Yeah, thanks to Danny Kerry for that. And well, you can just see there glimpses of the Argentina supporters making their way into the stadium. Argentina against Australia, the final. What a final that promises to be. People catching some rays. But the important job of deciding who finishes 5th and who finishes 6th here in Mendoza needs to be decided. We have 30 minutes of hockey left to decide it. And so, Thomas, what do you think China have to do in this second period?
Well, China didn't show us anything in terms of going forward and attacking in the first half of that game. That, you know, they're 1-0 behind, so they're going to have to do something if they've got any chance of getting back into this game. For me, and what we've seen so far, I feel that England are going to be the ones to get that extra goal and not the Chinese. But as Danny said in his talk there, we know that China can counter-attack very well, and England need to be very wary of that they don't go 1-1.
So the team's out nice and early for the start of this second half, which will be underway very, very shortly. China, can they show a little bit more in this second half than they did in the first? We know they've got it in the locker because they showed it in their last match. China get the second half underway, playing in the all-yellow strip with the black socks, attacking the goal to our right-hand side. And it's England who have the lead, courtesy of Shona McCallan getting on the end of a wonderfully worked team goal for England. Wang Mengyu, so Bao. Up to Zhao Zhu, who wins the free hit off the England player Shona McCallan. And this is Yu. Well taken by Owsley. Owsley will need to drop this inside. There's no real support. Townsend, nobody on the left-hand side of the pitch at all for England. All very much channeled down that right-hand side. Quek drops it out to Unsworth. Back in to McCallan. No real options for Unsworth, so she has to fire it at Quek.
Yeah, it's a little bit how they played, wasn't it, against New Zealand, just having nobody wide on the left-hand side, and therefore, as a result, they have very few options of which to play at.
There's still really nobody in this left channel.
Yeah, the midfielder needs to get out a lot quicker to the sideline to present that opportunity for England to have that width.
But you look at it here, Sam Quek stood on that right-hand touchline. She stood there while the ball has been shifted around to the right. There's absolutely nobody on this left flank. There's nobody on the left half of the pitch. One player from China in the half nearest us. And here is that one player, Yu Pan. Now England come across. That is the case even when England have possession. I know it's a different ball game when you're defending.
No, it is, and they've done it a lot this tournament, and I think, you know, they need to move out a lot quicker as a midfield if they're going to make that happen as an option. At the moment, China aren't transferring the ball at speed, and therefore they're able to deal with it. But as we saw against the quicker teams like New Zealand, they didn't cope with it very well that day at all.
Whistle's gone. China ball.
There's not much intensity to China at all, is there? They're not, you know, looking to take the free hits quickly, and very sedentary up front in their movements off the ball.
Unsworth to Townsend. England going through the middle here. And it's a good tackle from Liu. And McCallan had Lee had made the run down the left flank on that occasion for England, but Townsend decided to carry on through the middle. Liang. Townsend gets in the way, free hit. Taken by Peng Yang. Peng Yang into the circle. Can she get this ball across? Peng Yang still going. That is some piece of defending. And it's Sophie Bray.
Yes.
We saw her with some beautiful 3D skills in attack in the first half, and that is one of the best pieces of defending you're likely to see under all sorts of pressure.
Yeah, really good work from Sophie Bray. Great skills to try and bring that ball to the floor, but with not giving away any foul. But Chinese, for me, as I said, no intensity about them. They've got a free hit just outside the circle, and no one's rushing to take it. The only option they've got at the minute, or the only player who looks quite dangerous, is Peng Yang.
Bray wins possession back. Owsley and Bray down this left-hand flank for England. Bray coming back inside. Yeah, good defending from Bao. Peng Yang out to Liang. Liang up against Ansley. Doesn't get anything for that. The aerial was a poor one, and
I mean, this is where England need to be wary now. We've spoken of the counter-attack. Here's Peng Yang's opportunity in the circle, trying to get it across, trying to drive the baseline, and what a great pick from Sophie Bray. Great piece of skill on the turn to pull that round.
yeah, Yu Jian was right behind her. Here she goes again. Just getting it caught underneath her feet.
mean, China haven't got the numbers in attack at the moment, but if they do, they could possibly utilise that, because England is struggling at the moment in terms of the counter and getting players around that ball in midfield.
Cracked forward by Wang Mengyu, but straight at Lee. Owsley gets a little bit of luck off the stick of Liu Pan, and Owsley lucky not to pick up a card.
Yeah, I think it's just a momentum on that occasion following through, but we have seen cards in this tournament for that.
Onto the reverse stick, that's a good little ball across. Hinch, almost a little bit of indecision and the third party obstruction. Ansley standing in the way, and I think the umpire's got that one spot on.
Yeah, exactly. China, that's probably the second, third reverse stick cross they've done in this game, and they managed to find their way into that circle, and that's all they're looking for, is for England to make a mistake and then they give themselves a corner, which is exactly what they've done. That's the ball in, great ball in. Here we can see Maddie Ince trying to clear it, and Ansley's knocking out the way of the player, so she's unable to play that ball. Yeah, it's Wu for China.
So Wang Mengyu, the top of the circle with Peng Yang. Oh no, Peng Yang's just drifting off to the left. And Wang Mengyu, who's got an absolute perler at this end against Argentina. The drag's not great, and so they had to improvise. China, shot comes in, deflected, Hinch makes the save, and England have got to try and get this clear. And Unsworth as well.
Yeah, luckily for England, that's just not been stopped at the top of the circle, and quite slow in terms of the decision making as to what to do next.
Owsley, nice little pass to Lee. Lee runs into Owsley, who I think was coming. Well, I'm not sure what was going on there, but there was complete miscommunication or misunderstanding. And now Lee comes off. Gilbert can't bring it under control, and Owsley steps on the stick, and Peng Yang, who seems to be the only live wire out there in yellow anyway, tries to get China on the front foot. Ansley blocks the path of Wu. Comes crash ball from Liu Pan. Down they come. Wang Mengyu has a little look up. That's off the stick of McLeod, long corner.
Everything's just so slow from China at the minute, isn't it? Wang receiving the ball, they're taking 2-3 seconds to decide what to do with it. I mean, Peng Yang's the only one from China who's looked sharp this game, and I mean, she potentially could awaken some of her teammates, but right now they just look very, very slow and half asleep out there.
Which is fortunate from an England perspective, because they're not really having to do a great deal.
Yeah, here's the corner, it didn't come out right at the top of the circle. You see Wang trying to play to the right, Maddie getting a good save, and then Unsworth fortunately able to clear the ball.
The deflection coming off Wu Mengrong, so Hinch doing well to get down the other end. Excuse me. England firing it in, and Susanna Townsend gets the deflection, but it's away. Bao picks up Jiang. Here's Yan Yan. Yan Yan drops it out to Kui. This is Liu Pan. And Townsend's going to pick up a card here. And Townsend sort of body tackle.
Yeah, I mean, she's used her body there, but we've seen China do that as well in this game, and then they said it was a good tackle, so it needs to be consistent. Whatever they decide, it needs to be consistent, the umpires.
Wang Na. In it comes. Haycroft with a good take. Unsworth.
This is where England need to be smart now. I mean, yesterday they were so happy with their performance against Japan because they called it a professional performance, but a player down now and China starting to attack a little bit more. They just need to play the ball stick to stick and win the free hit so they can work their way higher up the field again.
Good decision from Georgie Twigg to let that one go.
Yeah, here we see Susanna Townsend. I mean, yeah, she's using her body to stop the Chinese girl from getting past, but as I said earlier, we have seen that from the Chinese team as well, and they've not been penalised.
Third green card of the tournament for Susanna Townsend. She's also picked up a yellow. Twigg. So, sideline ball to China. Wang Mengyu to Liu Pan. And lead as well. Liu Pan. Advancing ever so slowly up that right flank. In it comes. Here's a chance for Yan Yan. Twigg. The ball's in the back of the goal. And England have conceded with Townsend off the park once again. And I think it's Peng Yang. In fact, it's the skipper. Yeah, it's the skipper, Kui Zhuzhia.
Yeah, Georgie Twiggs just missed past that, and the captain from China's just gone the end of it and managed to slip it under Maddie Hinch. And this now is where the England girls need to show character. They need to get themselves back into this game as quickly as possible.
England back up to full complement. Lee, the 25, good tackle from Wang, and Owsley nips it back. Gilbert. Ansley comes forward, still going Giselle Ansley. Ansley fires it in, and so close to Jo Lee's stick.
Yeah, Ansley saw the pass to Lee, but Lee not able to get a connection with it on this occasion. But yeah, good chance for England again. Good to see them up the other side of the pitch so soon.
Townsend. Good tackle from Kui. Gilbert. Well, if Townsend's was a green, that has to be green.
It has to be.
And it is. Well, then they didn't really get hold of it. Wang Mengyu gets it out to the side, and it's a long corner. Zhang. Good tackle by Kwak.
Yeah, great take from Sam Kwak there.
Well, that's a horrible looking tackle. Advantage being played, but I think Zhang could be getting a little bit of a breather as well at the next stop in play. And here we go. Oh no, wow, she's not going to get penalised.
You can see the England bench talking to the umpire there saying, come on, that has to be. But that's what I mean, just the inconsistency of the umpire is not good for the game. It needs to be equal, or else it does get really tense and really frantic out there on the field for players, and they start to feel really disgruntled with all the decisions.
Well, some players will then feel that they can do any challenge because they can get away with it. Others will be afraid to do any challenge because they don't want to get carded.
Exactly.
It sort of depends what sort of player you are. Webb's ball forward. Well, England get the ball. In field comes Townsend. She's still going. Wins the free hit. Inside the final minute of this third quarter. A quarter in which China got back onto level terms. And not 5, Susanna Townsend. Webb had to be short, and she was, because Peng Yang was back on the park. And Webb and Unsworth will see out the clock. And there is the three-quarter time hooter, and China, courtesy of their captain, are back on level terms with 15 minutes to go. It's England 1, China 1. A disappointing quarter from an England perspective, but China will be delighted to be back on level terms. They showed a little bit more in that third quarter and got their goal, courtesy of their skipper. And they will feel a little bit more chirpy than England going into this final quarter. There's the England huddle. Wonder if we'll hear what Danny Carey has to say.
All right, Chloe, if you're out there on the right touch line, okay, and you feel it's crowded, it's recycled. So let's move it around a little bit more than we are. We tend to go one turn through and then try to play. What we're doing, we are doing is creating the ball infield like we did with Towner. All right. Now you two screens have got to work together and start trying to manipulate them, trying to get them attracted to you. Then go and find their blind space. Go and get some other area. Okay. Then the next line from that works off of them. So let's say Joey's the high screen. And the next line is Joey's the back.
Yeah, so a little bit there of what Danny's talking about is what we've identified this game, Charlie. So he's saying how when they transfer the ball to the right-hand side, they've just got someone static on the touchline, and they're not actually bringing the ball back out to attack down the left-hand side. But as we've seen this game, there hasn't been a player on the left-hand side to provide that option. So moving into the fourth quarter, they need to get the midfield early out to the sideline to present the opportunity to attack down both sides. And another point he's making is about the two screens who are in front of the defence and behind the midfield. They need to work better as a pair.
So China get this fourth quarter underway. Level with England. England 1, China 1. England taking the lead in the 13th minute. China equalising in the 41st. And it's a 15-minute shootout, if you like, to see who's 5th and who's 6th at this Champions Trophy in Argentina. If we are level after this quarter, we go to a shootout. And China, who showed a little bit more attacking intent.
Yeah, they show very little promise, haven't they, this whole game, and then all of a sudden they've managed to creep themselves back, and it's 1-1. So England need to sharpen it up in the fourth quarter and really increase the intensity, utilising both the left and the right hand side of the field, and again, their creative playmakers on the ball.
Here is McCallum, the England goal scorer. Little tip from Owsley for Kwek, but Kwek not on the same wavelength. Dropped out by Zhu. Bao. This is Xi. Good work from Xi. Webb's got to be careful with her hand off the stick. On the smaller the China players back. Yu Pan. Bao. Yu Pan gets it back again. McLeod tries to at least turn it, and she does that.
Yeah, England need to step out now a lot higher in the press. Everyone's too deep in their defending half. They need to push out and try and win this ball back from China higher up the field and not allow China to counter towards them.
Ball from Zhu was an aimless one. I didn't see that off an England stick. That wasn't it.
Thought it'd gone straight off the
No,
park.
it did go straight off the park. Certainly from the angle we're looking at. Now, Susanna Townsend gets the ball under control. Now tries to bring it away, but coming back to tackle her is Peng Yang. Here is Peng Yang. Peng Yang still going. Little first time ball from Zhu under the arm, and England do have the ball now.
I mean, the best passage of play we've seen from England in this game is when they've got the ball off their stick and they've utilised each other. There's no point in people picking it up in midfield to just run in towards the Chinese defenders, because they will take the ball off you, and they are good at the counter-attack. I mean, it is difficult for players. You know, the tournament hasn't gone as well as you expect. There's no chance of meddling. The crowds are smaller, but it's the last game in the tournament. No one wants to go home. You know, you want to go home with a win. You don't want to have the whole journey home thinking about what you could have done. They need to give absolutely everything now in this last 11 minutes.
But also from an England perspective, you've got the Europeans coming up at home in London in August. You know, you'd want to be a part of that. You know, you've played in London. Okay, it's an Olympic Games, but you've played in front of a home crowd, and that surely has to be an incentive for you to try and lay down a marker to Danny Carey and say, hey, listen, you can't forget about me. I want to be there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you've got to put your hand up, and this is a perfect game to do that. It's 1-1 with 10 minutes to go. Who's going to show the character to say, yes, I want the ball, give it to me. I want to do the right thing for the team. They don't need players to just be picking up and just trying to play as individuals out there.
But when perhaps you can't move the ball around as you would like, do players then start thinking, well, it's not working, so let's, rather than sticking to the game plan, they try and take take it on their individual responsibility rather than stay as a collective.
Yeah, I think, you know, you're out there, your brain's fried in the sun, you're in your fourth quarter, and you're wanting your team to win. I mean, all of these girls out there would be wanted to win and play really well. But the point is that exactly that, you have to stick to the game plan. You can't think that you know best and go out there on your own. I mean, China won their shootouts against Germany yesterday as well, didn't they? So they're obviously on a high with that.
England opting to go down through the middle when the Kwek was unmarked on that right-hand side, and Kwek is trying everything she can to get back. As McLeod comes in with another 50-50 tackle. Yang. I think McLeod's lucky. If she makes contact there, she's off.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If she'd made contact with that stick while she'd gone to ground, then that would have been a card and made it even more difficult for England in the last 9 minutes of this game.
Now loose ball from China. Here goes Sophie Bray, who when she's been on the ball has been very good, but she hasn't seen enough of it. Bray taking it down into this left-hand corner. Now where's the support? Here it is with Owsley. The stick makes it a little difficult for Owsley, but she's got no support behind her, Owsley. Townsend. This is Zhang. Yu Pan. Wang Na to Bao. To Wang Mengyu. Good pick from Owsley on the reverse stick, but China are there to get it out of play. Little ball in field from Zhang to Wang Na. Wang Na finds Wu Mengrong. Wu off the foot of Kwek. Takes it quickly into the circle. And Webb gets it clear. And this is Lee. Show Lee to Kwek. Kwek turns full circle and goes back into congestion when she's got Ansley all unmarked on this left flank, and China have turned possession back over. There's a decision. There's an example of decisions being made when your brains are fried, and they've given away the penalty corner here, England, and they've invited that upon themselves, I'm afraid. So China, with 7:35 remaining, have a chance to take the lead here.
Here we see Peng again getting the ball onto Sam Kwek's foot. I mean, she's been the brightest of the Chinese forwards all day, so she knows exactly what she's doing and what she's looking for, especially when this game is so close now.
So Wang Mengyu, will she go for the straight flick at goal? No, it's a swatch. Bow. Hinch makes the save. Play on. Here comes the shot in, and that surely must be an England ball off the China player, and it is. And Hinch does well, and England survive. Bray. Townsend can't bring it under control. That's the replay of the penalty corner.
The England girls are just so focused on the one channel, the channel they're playing in. They need to open up their eyes, they need to increase their vision and try and look to utilising the space which is on the left-hand side of the field. Even if they don't go down there, they're going to shift the Chinese defence out and create some space for themselves in other means.
Kui finds Bao. And Bao gets the ball back again, and here is Li Jiaqi, who can't keep the ball in play, and Unsworth will take the sideline ball. Webb. Ansley. That just goes up the right flank to Owsley, and off out goes Owsley. Owsley showing good pace. You can hear the shout, hold on to it.
Yeah, I mean, she's got great pace. She will absolutely roast the Chinese defence on the baseline there. I think she just needs to continue to carry and try and look to get into the circle. Playing too much ball outside the circle when we actually need to penetrate it.
Bao. Over to Lee. It's been comfortable for China, hasn't it, in the second half? They haven't really been stretched by England.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, England have just brought on some fresh legs as they looked like they were struggling to get back in midfield, so maybe this provides the impetus they need now in pushing forward into the last 5 minutes. But the space is on the left-hand side, and they've gone back into the right-hand side again, and China have turned over the ball.
Ball forward, but I think rudderless would be a word I'd use to describe this game right now. Neither side seem to have any sort of shape or game plan. Ball into midfield, picked up by Gilbert, and forward comes Zhang. Zhang tries to play that straight up the middle again. Haycroft trying to leave that to Townsend when she had Liu Pan on her back, and credit to Haycroft, she's one possession back, and then Liu Pan wins it back again. Liu Pan showing some nice skills, wins the free hit, and we're coming up to the final 4 minutes, and that that just needs to be left. And this one is meandering at a slow pace towards a shootout, you would feel.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, Craig Keegan shouting his team there to want the ball and to press the Chinese, but it's all very slow paced out there at the minute. Neither team really looking like they want to go forward and attack with belief. Pushing the ball into the centre of the field where all the Chinese players are and making it comfortable for China in doing so.
McCallum with some nice skill to get away from those China defenders. But the ball in towards Watton is well picked out by Bao, but Bao's dropped it into trouble. Haycroft into the circle. Haycroft, if she can pull this back or get it on target, might set up an England opportunity, but China get it away. Owsley. You can hear how out of breath she is. She's really putting in the effort. There's no doubt the effort's been put in. It's just that clearness of thought. That is what's being questioned.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's 1-1 with under 3 minutes to go, and England have got 5 defenders. I mean, maybe they need to push one of those forwards or to try and get an extra player, a spare player in there that they can use.
McCallum wins the free hit. But England are in this position because McCallum showed a lovely piece of skill to get out of that box of 4 China players.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where the space is. And I think if Lily Owsley and characters like that can get on the ball, then they need to just...
Well, that's a great effort from Owsley. We said there's nothing wrong with the commitment, and that was brilliant commitment.
Yeah.
China then looking to attack down this right-hand flank, and that is behind Yu, and Twig brings it infield, gets the pass away to Ansley inside the final 2. England need to now bring it down this left-hand flank. Quek is on the left-hand side, Unsworth is up this left side, and for the first time this half we've had somebody in a red shirt from an England perspective on this left side of the field, and that's going to be a China ball because that's up into the player.
Yeah, that was much better from Unsworth in getting to the sideline early for Sam Quek to release the ball to, and again getting into those areas they need to be. With only 1 minute 24 on the clock now, they're going to need to be doing that a lot more and make sure they stop the counter from the Chinese.
Peng Yang to the middle. Final minute then. China where they want to be inside the final minute. We're 40 seconds away from our first shootout of the day. We had 2 of them yesterday. Australia won theirs against New Zealand and China beat Germany. England need to concentrate here. Inside the final 15 now. China and England have won possession, and Cheiko Soma wants it on the sixpence again, and time will elapse. And we are going to a shootout here in this 5th-6th playoff match. It's finished here, all level. England and China couldn't be split after 60 minutes of play. It's a shootout. Final score, England 1, China 1. Well, the teams have 5 minutes before the start of the shootouts. And, well, Sarah Thomas, it was a good start from England. It was a good first half, maybe from the second half. Sadly, from their perspective, not good. And China were the other way around. They started poorly. They sort of came into it more. But we have to have a shootout to split these two because England and China have finished level in the 5th-6th playoff. It's England 1, China 1. So Sarah, here are the highlights.
Yeah, this is England's first goal. Great cross in from Susanna Townsend, and Shona McCallan's getting right on the end of that to put it into the top right-hand corner. Lovely piece of play from Sophie Bray. Really good at skill in terms of turning and bringing the ball down. And England have had their opportunities in the circle. Yeah. Well, here's the opportunity for China, just getting a deflection. Almost looked like it beaten Maddie Hinch for a moment as the ball dropped down and hit the crossbar, but dealt with it on this occasion. And there's another piece of wonderful skill from Sophie Bray to get her team out of trouble. Is this the Chinese goal? Captain doing enough just to manage to find that little bit of space to slot it underneath Maddie Hinch and into the goal.
And that was the effort towards the end from Lily Owsley. It was a really good effort, showing total commitment, but you can see that was really the only goal-mouth opportunity between the China goal and the end of the game. So here are the stats in black and white. England with more circle penetration, more shots, more possession, more penalty corners. But it's the top one that matters the most. The scoreline, England 1, China 1. So Maddie Hinch is going to have to try and keep China at bay. It'll be interesting to see if it's Li Dongxiao or Guo Jiajia in goal for China for this shootout. But either way, we will find out soon enough who is going to finish 5th here in Mendoza. We are 2 minutes away then from the start of this shootout. Remember, China were in one yesterday. Peng Yang, Liang Meiyu, Li Jiaqi and Yu Jian were all successful. The one player to miss was the captain, Kui Qujia, who scored the goal for China today. China went second against Germany yesterday, and after the first 5, it's then reversed. So they went first in the sudden death, and Peng Yang scored before Germany missed. And it's still going to be Li Dongxiao inside the China goal for this shootout. Now, who is going to step forward for England? Well, they've made it fairly easy. They're not all carrying their sticks. So Twig, Gilbert, Bray, Lee and Unsworth are carrying their sticks. I'm assuming that will be the 5 to take the shootouts for England. China, it's the same 5 from yesterday. So Peng Yang got them underway yesterday. Then Liang Meiyu. Kui was 3rd, Lee was 4th, and Yu 5th. But it's England and Georgie Twig that will get us underway here in this shootout. Eight seconds, remember, for the player to try and beat the keeper. Twig looks fairly relaxed. And we're just waiting for the officials to get ready, and here we go then. Twig up against Lee. Twig. Does she do enough with the ball? No, she doesn't. And Lee makes the save.
Yeah, here we see Georgie Twigg running in. She's got really good skill, but as she pulls it round to her backhand, she just misses it on the twist. And the Chinese goalkeeper does very well to stay on her feet and protect the goal there.
So Peng Yang, who was on target yesterday twice, up against Hinch, and Hinch very quick to the ball, and she can't get a stick, and Hinch saves. Peng Yang wants to refer it. She feels she was taken out by Maddie Hinch.
Yeah, and I think she's probably going to say that she wasn't allowed to get up off the floor.
Took her out first. What decision did you give? What did you give? I gave coming out. After the fact that she had okay, I'll take a look. I gave nothing on the beginning. Take a look.
Let's see what Hinch does here.
She doesn't get hold of the ball.
But then she doesn't really slide into the player either, does she?
Steph, is a penalty stroke.
Yeah.
China keeps their referral.
Now the interesting thing on the stroke is that the player who's taken the shuttle doesn't have to take the stroke, which is a rule change.
But she is going to.
Yeah, but she's going to, but it's a rule change since the London 2012 Olympics.
Because Wang Mengyu had a stroke yesterday against Germany and had it saved by Evie Frank.
She went bottom left then, didn't she?
Yeah, from the taker's point of view. It's a different taker here today. Peng Yang then to give China the lead, and Hinch gets down to the same spot to make the save. Maddie Hinch atones for her error.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, same stroke as we saw yesterday. Low to the left-hand side, but not an awful lot of pace behind it, and Maddie able to save it quite convincingly in that moment.
So 0-0. Now it's Laura Unsworth for England. Will we see her trademark? No, we won't. In trouble here, but she beats Lee just as the clock was running out.
Yeah, that's really good from Unsworth. She's known from going into the top of the circle and slapping the ball, and she's read the situation well. The goalkeeper's not coming out to her, so she's decided to go against it, gone to the right and created that space for herself on the left and finishing it with a great backhand, but goalkeeper unlucky there.
All smiles for Laura Unsworth. It's Liang Meiyu now up against Maddie Hinch. And Hinch likes to start from her left-hand post. Liang up against Hinch, and Hinch slaps the ball clear with her stick.
Yeah, Maddie Hinch is very good at these shuttles. She's very confident with them, and even when I was in the squad 2 years ago, she was the hardest person to take them against. Look at her, very composed, and then even just with the stick, plays it away. That's superb from Maddie Hinch.
We saw the New Zealand goalkeeper Barnett backing off when the player came in, and that just gives the player too much space. Now Susie Gilbert to give England a 2-0 lead, which would mean China would have to score. And Gilbert has missed. That really would have put the pressure on China. As it is, Kui can level things up here.
Yeah, for me, Gilbert's played with this too much and not actually creating space. She's done a bit of dribbling in front of the goalkeeper, but not actually moved the goalkeeper enough to create some space for her to slot it into the goal.
Kui Zhujia now to try and put China on the scoreboard in this shootout. Kui up against Hinch. Hinch, Hinch has got the stick there. And Kui scores. And look at the delight on the China players' faces. The skipper's scored the way she missed yesterday.
Yeah, first initial save from Hinch, but doing really well to take that on the turn and find the bottom right-hand corner there.
Sophie Bray then. To put England 2-1 up. Bray.
What's she saying? She put a stick over the ball.
We're going to refer it.
Hold on. No, I did not play on. Okay. I called a non-intentional foul by the keeper on a retake.
Oh, it's called a retake, a non-intentional foul by the keeper. Well,
it's a weird decision.
wouldn't you?
You'd just play that on, wouldn't you?
Well, I guess because she's going away from goal, she's blown up because she doesn't think there's an advantage. But that's a great finish from Bray.
I have no reason to change your decision. Go with your retake. The retake. It's a retake.
So Bray's going to get another chance here. Now, do England change their order here and let Sophie Bray, or can they change their order? Or Sophie Bray's got to compose herself.
Yeah, she's got to take it. It's only when it goes to a stroke can you actually get a different player to take it. When it's a retake on the shuffle, you have to take it yourself.
So here we go again. Bray for a second time up against Lee. And that's a great save from Lee. And Bray will feel pretty disappointed that her first effort wasn't allowed to stand.
Yeah, she's run straight in at the goalkeeper. She hasn't really changed any movement here until the final movement, but great outstretching save from the Chinese goalkeeper on her stick side.
Li Jiaqi then to make it 2-1 to China, and China, if they score here, will put real pressure on England. England will have to score with their last shuttle. She's missed. She has missed. So, Zhou Li steps forward.
Here we see the Chinese number 28 taking the ball, taking too long with it. Maddie Hinch doing really well, not looking flustered whatsoever and staying really composed in there.
So Lee, the youngster, is up last. If she scores here, China have to score with their last one. Lee then. Zhou Li trying to move the keeper. Scores in the second attempt. Now, they reckon that China reckon the time has elapsed. They want to refer it because of time.
It did seem like a long time, but it's surprising when you're down there how long 8 seconds actually is. A great initial save by the goalkeeper in the first instant, but good from Zhou Li on the follow-up and the flick into the net. They go into the referral.
China is looking for the ball not over the goal line by the second time expires. Okay, I'll take a look.
Okay, so has the ball crossed the line by the time the 8 seconds has expired? We don't have a hooter attached to the scoreboard here. So that is why we can't see. I did look up, it was very, very close. Well, we wait to see what decision is made by Carol Metchett in the video referral box. Well, we'll wait and see. We can't see the clock there.
Yes?
I think she's just
There's
in.
no advice possible? Go with your original decision.
Goal has been scored for Zhou Li, and I think she's just in. I think it's very, very close, but I think she's just in. So the upshot of all that is England lead by 2-1, and now Yu Jian has to score. Has to score to keep this shootout alive. If she misses, England will finish 5th and China will finish 6th. Yu Jian then, up against Maddie Hinch. Yu looks for the little lob. That's a brilliantly taken goal, that. That is as cool as you like.
No pressure then.
No, none at all.
Yeah, great little lob past Maddie Hinch, seen the space and just executed it perfectly. Nice to see the Chinese celebrating that as well.
So now it's a changeover. So China go first and have the opportunity to put England under pressure, just as they did against Germany. And just as they did against Germany, it will be Peng Yang who will take their 6th. Peng Yang up against Maddie Hinch. She missed or scored from a stroke the last time, and Hinch has been hurt there. But it is a 16.
Yeah, great save here from Maddie Hinch. Takes the first initial shot and somehow managed to clear it with her hand. Actually, very, very good from Maddie Hinch, but has taken a blow from the first shot that went in.
That one's really hurt her. And Kirsty Mackay's come across to kit up now in case Hinch has to be replaced. That's a great save. Do you think she's landed on the ball?
Well, I think that's hit her in the side. Top looks like it's come up and it might have just hit her in the side. It's from a very short distance as well, isn't it?
England are changing their order. Unsworth is coming forward now. So this to win it. 3-2. Unsworth against Li Dongzhao. Here we go then. Unsworth wins it, and England finish 5th. They have beaten China by 3-2, and the trademark Unsworth shootout brings England the victory. England have won it 3-2 after a 1-1 draw in full time.
Yeah, great work from Unsworth here.
Laura Unsworth then at the centre of the England crowd, because it's her penalty, the first one in sudden death, has gone in. Maddie Hinch with the save of Peng Yang, the China number 10, who was China's best player during the 4 quarters, but when it came to the shootout, she scored 2 against Germany yesterday, but she missed 2 against England on the last match of the tournament for China. 1-1 after 60 minutes of play. England was hairy, it was tight, have won it. England 3, China 2, the final shootout score. Smiles all round for England, disappointment for China. They will finish in 6th there. World ranking position. Sorry, they're 5th in the world ranking position. They finished 6th, and England, who are 6th, finished above them in 5th. So a little reversal of world ranking spots there for these 2 teams. And England will feel relieved that they've got through that shootout.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the girls will be really, really happy to go home with a win, finish this tournament on a high, and I think moving forward there's a few things they'll want to work on when they're back home in Bisham, but for now, really good win to the end of the tournament.
Credit to Zhou Li, she had to step up as the youngster last shootout to keep England afloat in it, and she did just that. And I think we can hear now from the England keeper Maddie Hinch, who's with Mel Clulo.
Maddie, Sum up the thoughts going into a penalty shootout for you as a goalkeeper.
Do you know what? We have a habit of getting into these things, and we're becoming more and more comfortable as a team. So I was looking forward to doing my part for the girls today, and I was a little bit disappointed with the goal that conceded. So I thought, you know what, step up and make sure we win this.
And just summarise the tournament as a whole for the England team.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're a young group. We've struggled a little bit with injuries, and I think, to be honest, we've put in some great performances here. Results haven't quite gone away, but it's the top 8 in the world. It's always going to be a tough one, and I think we've got a lot of positives to take back home with us.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time. Rest up well and good luck for 2015.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks to Maddie Hinch and to Mel Clulo for asking the questions. And, well, England will feel pretty happy that they have finished in 5th place. It was 1-1 after full time, and England going through to finish 5th, 3-2 in sudden death in the shootout. A little earlier on, Germany beat Japan by 5-3 to finish 7th. 2 semi-finals coming up. 2 semi-finals, what am I talking? The medal matches coming up shortly. It's New Zealand against the Netherlands next in about 45 minutes, and then the gold medal match, Australia against Argentina. It promises to be an absolute cracker. The atmosphere in this stadium will be electric. Of that, there is no doubt. Luciana Aymar on her farewell to international hockey. Can she go out with a gold medal on home soil? Well, we'll find out a little later on this evening. The gold medal match getting underway at 7 o'clock local time. There is Alex Danson, who was injured in the first game against Australia in the opening minutes. She's more like her usual self now. A bit groggy in the first couple of days, but she'll be delighted as a non-playing captain for the rest of this tournament to see her team finish 5th. So we know the minor placings, but who will occupy the medal slots? England have beaten China on a shootout. Final score 3-2.